sincerely. You're going to hear some great information. I'll just say that this couple that you're going to hear from has gone out there and just led the way by example, and that's the best type of leadership I think there is going out there and just doing it and getting stuff done. And it was fun to watch them. I just got to know this couple. It was really last year. We went on the cruise together, and I got to know them, and what a wonderful couple. And just seeing what they've been able to do in terms of their business up in Canada and also all over, and just their leadership is second to none. And I'm very, very fortunate to be able to bring them on tonight, and they're going to share some of their wisdom. And I would encourage everybody, take the notes, but most importantly, take the information into your heart, because I think that's really where it's going to implant itself and allow you to go out there with the passion that you're going to need to get excited and have the success you want. And I'm noticing on this, my head keeps disappearing, so I don't like this backdrop here. So I'm sorry about that. I do have the top of my head, just so everybody knows, but I don't have any hair in this from what I can see right now. But anyway, I'm going to step out of the way and I'm going to bring up this amazing couple. They went in January, they went to the position of bronze, and then they went to the position of silver, and they went out and did it at a time when literally they were just, obviously people are just getting back into the groove of the brand new year, and they went out and got stuff done. And I'll tell you, I could not be more proud of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand it over right now to Jeneen and Dan Youngworth, and I appreciate you both being on, and I'll hand it right over to you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mark.
Mark, it's such an honor that you had us come on tonight to do this training. We're pretty excited. And it's a great honor to be here with all of these other amazing leaders. And I just feel so, so, so blessed to have the leadership that we do with this company. If you are new here tonight, I'm going to say you are here at the right time. And we seriously have the best team here. So
yeah, this community is amazing, and we're super, super happy we said yes to looking at this membership, and we said yes to joining, and thought, we just needed gold and silver. Like, don't talk about anything else to us. We're good. But it didn't take us long to realize, holy smokes, we got the world by the tail with this membership.
yes. So I'm going to share my screen here. And just give me 1 second. Go. And just give me a thumbs up that that's showing okay. Awesome. Perfect. All right. So I hope that you have your notebooks and pens with you, because we're going to be sharing some really powerful tools that are transformative if you are willing to change. Are you willing to actually allow yourself to evolve into the person that you are required to be to have the success that you are desiring? Because it does require a shift. And that's why I said the shift, and it's 3 powerful principles. So Dan's just going to introduce himself first.
Sure. Thanks. I'm a general contractor by day. And this is a business that when Jeneen decided to start sharing this membership, and I really started to dig into it, I realized, man, this is something really, really good. So I make time. I'm busy every day and running a general contracting firm, and I've decided to just make time for this. And the reason is because I used to be in banking, and I managed a credit union branch for several years, and I just saw endless money printing especially the last few years, and before that in the financial meltdown in 08. And, money printing, we all know, and we don't have to be a huge historian to understand that never ends well. And it really concerns me in how we can protect some of the assets that we have. And gold and silver just comes to the top of that list of one of the ways to do that. So I'm super pumped to be partnered with my wife in doing this and letting people know about this membership.
So I'm Jeneen Youngworth, and so prior to 7K, I also, as Dan said, we didn't say yes to the business. I was already running 2 businesses, so I am an author. I do have a book out there called You Are Not Alone. That's about my journey into the work that I do. Most people don't know that. I am a transformational coach. And what does that mean? Well, I touched on it a little bit. You can't keep being the same energy if you want different results. And so when I do my work, it truly is transformative. Your energy actually changes, and we talk a lot about energy and how to work with it. So that's why I said to have your notebooks ready, because I'm going to be giving you some tools to show you how to change energy very quickly. I am an EFT master. So for those of you who don't know what that is, it's emotional freedom technique, and it is a release technique. So if you're feeling blocked in your energy, you just don't know how to get past maybe fears that you have in doing your business, it is great for phobias. So if you have a fear of speaking and you're trying to do this business, that is certainly something that it could help you with as well. And of course, I'm now a 7K builder. So here are the 3 topics, the 3 principles. The first is your money mindset. The second is your basic mindset. So we're going to talk about how to find your mental edge. And then the third is you are the creator, how to shape your world with intention. So with the money mindset, there's so much energy around fear. And being that I'm in tune with energy, I really feel that when I'm presenting, when I'm talking with people, I can sense it out there when I do a Facebook post. It's when you do the work that I do, it's kind of crazy the things that you feel and that you sense. So if you are willing to master your mindset with daily awareness, and you guys, like money, we're always transacting with money, right? You might pick up the mail and there's bills in the mail that will create a frequency within you. Maybe you freak out because, oh, it's the credit card statement, right? Or maybe you go pay for something. It's kind of a daily thing. So this is where you want to master your mindset. And then how you are responding. There's a lot of control and programming out there that I am really starting to see more and more as we dig into sharing the membership and, the way the economy is. And there's so much fear out there that it's really, it seems to be overtaking people, and we have to change that. So just a few questions to ask yourself. What is your relationship with money? How do you feel about it? Do you feel good about money? Are you comfortable with money? Does money stress you? These are some of the things that we have to start getting really, really intimate with, is how we feel about money. What are your fears around money? So we're going to get a little bit into the fear, because fear is huge. And I know most of you are out there are, doing all the things and listening to maybe other coaches and doing the mindset stuff. And fear is a big one. I mean, that it's at the top of the list. So it's just something to be really aware of, and how it's ruling you versus, maybe um, using it as a tool to show you where you're at. So it is an energy that can be negative, but you can also use it to lift you or remind you of where you're at, okay? So you always have a choice, and choice creates. So will you use fear and make change, or will you let it trap you? It is an energy. For some people, it actually has them stuck. And maybe you are feeling stuck tonight in your business and just feeling like, I don't know how to move forward. I don't know how to build this. So we're really going to be tapping into that, but use that energy to help you. There's a story out there of the man who, I don't know exactly how the parable goes, but a town wanted to bury him. So they dropped him in a hole and they just started dumping dirt on him. And what he decided to do, every time they dumped a shovel full of dirt on him, he just stepped onto it. And they kept throwing dirt in, but he eventually just kept stepping on it, and it kept raising him, and he got out of the hole. And so what if, even though fear is a very real energy, what if you could use it to lift yourself out of old ways of thinking? So I want you to really change how you look at fear and use it as a tool. So many of you know there's all these acronyms for fear, right? False evidence appearing real. face everything and rise. Forget everything and run. Lots of us want to do that.
That's a popular one, I think.
That was me when I did a radio show for about a year, and I remember that first morning waking up, and my first thought, you guys, when I opened my eyes, was I could run away from my life. That's how terrified I was to do this radio show. And I thought, I can't run away from my life. Like, I have a husband and kids that I love. But it was that real. I just wanted to run away. So maybe some of you are feeling that way too. Or you can actually use it as feeling excited and ready. So what I do is I hit it head on. I really, as you do this work, it starts to become very natural to you, okay? So think of it as like when you were first learning how to drive, right? You're behind the wheel, and every process for driving, you had to think about it. Well, how do I change lanes? Well, okay, first put on my signal, then I shoulder check, right? Like it's very methodical. Well, we all know now it's like, oh, geez, when did I go past the 7-Eleven? I didn't even realize I've got this far. So you want your mindset to just become so natural, you don't even have to think about it anymore. So for me, I call it out, I recognize it right away, and the sooner the better, then you can change it. And so how do you change something? The first step is to acknowledge it. So here are some other things to be aware of, and you might want to take a screenshot of this because you'll never write it before I'm done talking. But shift to an abundance mindset. So it's really about reprogramming your brain, reprogramming your mind. So you have to rewire your beliefs around money. And I'm going to say that I'm going to give credit where credit is due here, but Laura said something to me the other day, and she tapped her card and she's like, there's more where that came from. And I thought, I love that, right? So every time you tap your card or you go to pay for something, instead of feeling yucky about it or paying a bill, just say there's more where that came from. Money is a tool and it's just an energy and it should be in flow, but it is us that really stops it.
We all know when we try to buy something or we see something we really like and it's expensive and what's the immediate first thought? Oh, I can't afford that. Try this next time. Think to yourself, how can I afford this? Or say it out loud. That's even more powerful. Before that thought, like Jeneen said, hit it head on. Before that thought comes in of, oh, I can't afford it. Get rid of it. How can I afford this?
Yeah, that's
And your whole emotion changes.
It does, and it's really powerful. And that's actually a principle from Robert Kiyosaki. And last year, when we were going on our cruise, we were doing that. We had a trip to Mexico booked, I think. No, we were going to convention. It just seemed like a lot all at once. And so I thought, you know what? I'm going to switch this to how can we afford it? And do you know that because I needed to book our flights for the 7K getaway, and I hadn't even thought about this before, that we actually had points on our credit card. I forgot that we had a card that had points. I know, weird, but it suddenly reminded me by asking the question, and we booked our flights with our points. We didn't have to pay a penny. And I know for a fact if I had not asked that question, that awareness would not have come. So sometimes ideas and awarenesses of other ways or other possibilities really start to show up. So that's a really good tool. Thanks for sharing that one. Detach from the fear narrative. Okay, there's so much fear around money. And it's also why we're not educated on money, you guys. And this is why we're going to be talking about this a little bit down the road here at the end of how we went silver. And we're going to be sharing with you our principles of how to do that using our 3-step process.
Did you skip number 2 or did I just blank out there?
Well, I'm kind of talking about the
Oh,
education.
okay.
So it's really to get educated on all of these things. And this is why our focus on our overviews is educating people. Okay, so education is always empowering. Maybe I did skip that. You're right. I'm sorry. Anyway, so build financial sovereignty. So diversify income streams. You can have multiple streams of income. Now you have to be careful here. Okay. Because if you are too scattered and not focused, it can harm your business. Okay, so you might want to focus on something and get it really well established, but also be open to diversifying your streams. But maybe it's just getting your money working for you inside of the Sound Money wallet. So those are some other things to think about. Use money as a tool for freedom. See wealth as a means to create positive change, not something to fear. Again, those are some things that you might have to look at. Are you afraid to be wealthy? Are you afraid of the responsibility that comes with it? These are all things, we all have unique things, subconscious programming that's running in the background. Also invest in mindset work, right? So just surround yourself with high vibration financial mentors and knowledge. Listen to audiobooks and all kinds of things like I'm listening to a book right now called Rich AF. And she's kind of amazing. She's like, again, I'm just keeping myself in the vibration and reminding myself of what I'm also capable of.
Well, that's even getting on this call every Monday night, getting on the Monday night call from corporate, getting on Coffee with Curtis, getting on Kathy Guzzo's call. There's so many amazing leaders with, the same message, maybe a different way to deliver it, but we're all pulling in the same direction. And that's investing in mindset work too.
Absolutely. So acknowledge the truth about money and call out the lies. You have to be willing to seek the truth and you have to be willing to see the lies. So money is a tool, it's actually neutral. And I don't think people really acknowledge or realize this. Money will only amplify that which you already are. So if you're not a good person and you get more money, it's just going to amplify that. So we have to let go of the fear of being wealthy, of having it. We have to have conversations around it. These are just some things to really be thinking about. So just learn to be aware of that programming that's running in your system. Maybe it's things you heard growing up. I am really going to invite you guys to work on your money mindset. This is huge. This is a frequency and a vibe that's going to carry over into your business as well. So yeah, if you don't have money, dig in and see what programming is running within you because it's all about your frequency. What are your money stories? What do you truly feel about it? What has been your experience with it in life? So you can change your financial reality. I promise you, it can be transformative. So the second principle is your basic mindset. So we talked about money mindset, but you also have to learn how to find your mental edge. Okay, so this I touched on a little bit is being aware of where your thoughts are at and what you are focusing on. So it's all about energy. And I might sound a little woo-woo, but you know what, you guys, science has already proven everything is energy. It's already proven. So your thoughts create your feelings and your feelings create your vibe. So how are you feeling? Your energy is contagious. This runs over into your business. People will feel it on some level, be it subconsciously or not. I think we all know what it's like to go into maybe you need to go into a used car lot and you feel that greasy car salesman, right? Versus I'm sure we've all had car experiences too, where it's been someone who was really amazing at what they did. It's an energy that you can't deny. So it's all about how you feel about your business, your team, and your life. So too many people just let their thoughts rule them rather than having control over their thoughts. And I'm guilty of that as well. I'm sure many of you know what I'm speaking to here. And I think sometimes too, like in religion, I just want to touch on like I feel like as the Bible was translated, I feel like there's many truths in the Bible, but I feel like some things were not maybe translated properly or maybe added in. Okay, so even with this, it's like some people think, oh, well, it's God's will. Okay, yes, there are other moving parts to life, but we are the creators of our lives. And so we were given free will for a reason. So it's working with God, the universe, all of the things that are available to us, but ultimately you are responsible for your energy and yourself and your thoughts. Nothing else is in control of that. That's you. So become very conscious of the stories you were telling yourself in the mind chatter. So, if something keeps repeating for you, you're like, why? I thought I dealt with this. Why does this keep showing up? It's showing up because it's still in your frequency. So are you still telling yourself the old stories? Is that why this keeps repeating? And are you willing to say, that's the old story? What's my new story? What am I creating for a new story? So again, what is all that mind chatter? So responsibility. How many of you that your energy kind of just sunk with the thought of responsibility? Like, does that feel heavy? But let's change how we feel about responsibility. What if responsibility is simply your ability to respond? And what if you could respond in positive ways, whereas before you didn't realize that you even had that ability? So responsibility cripples some people because they feel heavy about that word. But what if it's just that you are able to respond in a way that is positive for you? So you can't always control what happens, but what you can do is control how you respond. It's again, comes back to all about the energy. Okay, so what you do need to remember about your mental edge is that you cannot have two thoughts at the same time. Your thoughts create your vibe and the energy that you are currently. So there's only two vibes. One is positive, one is negative. So in this moment, which one are you choosing? Your words speak things into existence. So something that I think has been taboo, and this is part of, I'm going to be tying in the lies of this reality, but people don't want to talk about that because that's evil and that's magic and that's voodoo and that's all these things. But what if spelling actually could be just about what you're speaking into existence? It comes from being in a spelling bee. How do you spell words? By using letters, right? So what are you speaking into existence? So I mentioned the free will. Whatever you focus on and talk about, you will bring about. So when when we were going silver, Dan was fitting it in where he could. I don't think he had time to think because he's a busy contractor.
It was long days.
He just
Yes.
was in do mode. But for me, I was like, how? You guys, the last week that we went silver, do you know how many memberships we needed that week? We needed 10 legacy memberships to hit silver. 10. I mean, 3 was probably the most we'd ever gotten before that, maybe 4.
3 or 4, yep.
And I just thought, how on earth are we going to do this? Well, first of all, we started on Sunday when that week hit. It's like, let's go.
Sunday morning early, the instant we got out of bed, it was go.
We hit the floor running. It was like, there's no time to waste. Because the week before was stressful. Because you get to Saturday night and you're like, oh my gosh. Ugh. And I was like, we're not doing that this week. So we got to work. But I am telling you, I was walking around my house. I can't even believe I'm telling you guys this, but I'm going to because it works. Like a crazy woman. And I'm like, I don't know how. I'm going to get 10, but we are silvers. This week we are going silver. It's totally happening. Like things are happening behind the scenes that I don't even know about. Our team's going to help us, all these things. I'm going to tell you something else. So I finished that and Mark reached out to me. Okay. And Mark just said, I'm here to support you. He left me a voice message and whatever you need, like you guys got this. I know you can do it. And I needed to hear that. And then we got on a phone call and he gave me some ideas and a video that really, I know, helped us get our 10 that week. And so maybe,
The timing of that wasn't by accident.
no, it wasn't. And it was because I was open, I was focused. I was like, I don't know how this is going to happen, but I'm just having faith and I'm going to keep speaking it into existence. Because as I was doing that, when you're speaking and you're focused, your mind can't do anything else, right? So I was not letting that negative come in like, you'll never get 10. How do you think you're going to get 10? Right? So I just kept speaking it. We're doing it. We're getting 10. It's totally possible. So it's really, really powerful.
And we got 10.
We did. We actually did it. It's kind of surreal. I'm not gonna lie, it is kind of surreal. I still don't know really how we did it, but I do know how we did it because I used the tools that I'm sharing with you guys tonight. They work. I wouldn't be here telling you if they didn't. So I'm about to share with you 3 words that are causing you to sabotage your life. Do you want to know what those words are? Yeah? Thumbs up?
Sylvia wants to know.
Okay, the first word is don't. Okay? Don't think about ice cream. What'd you just think about? Don't
Ice
think about
cream.
the Yeah. Right? Don't think about the Statue of Liberty, right? So it's not a word that you want to be. Now you can tell the waitress that you don't want ice in your drink. That's fine. But when you're focusing on your life, you don't want to be using the word don't. Okay? The other word is not. Okay? And the third one is no. So try searching in your search engine on the internet and put no onions. What are you going to get in your search engine? Nothing but onions, right? Or put, no Mexican vacation. It's going to bring up Mexican vacations. So don't, not, and no are some words that you really want to try to eliminate from your vocabulary. So how to find your mental edge and how to reset when you are having a negative moment is a super, super simple tool. Do you want to share this one?
No, you go ahead. You're on
But
a roll.
but you know what it is. What do I want? This is Dan's. This is that he just didn't know
Yeah,
it.
I am holding back, but this for me, that very statement, what do I want, is life-changing, transformational, call it what you will, but this will change your life.
So the reason I have a picture with a whole bunch of sticky notes and post-it notes is there's a book and a movie out there called The Secret. And if you haven't watched it, I would recommend that you watch it. And back in '06 when that came out, we were going through a really hard time. I was a stay-at-home mom with 3 little girls. He was working a job where I had cut everything we could. I didn't know how we were going to pay the bills. We didn't miss a payment, luckily, but that book had perfect timing in our life. And I was already teaching meditation classes and I was loving teaching. And I thought, I need to learn how to teach this. But from that book, this is what Dan did. He took post-it notes and he stuck them everywhere around the house because when you're in dire straits, it's really hard not to focus on where you're at and you're wondering how you're going to pay the bills. So he wrote on there, what do I want? And then I actually took I think it was an eyeliner and wrote it on my shower wall because I thought, well, that's mindless, when you're just washing your hair and all the things, I could just focus on what I want. And so we did that. And if you want to hear the story of how that changed our reality, because it's too long to get into tonight, Dan says you can come up to him at convention. I think you better be careful. You're going to be busy. Okay, so to reset, what do I want? Put them up around your house. Remind yourself, maybe you've got some people on your team that are just, frustrating and driving you crazy. I don't know. Then what do you want? What kind of members do you want on your team? Self-motivated, self-starters, people who are excited to build the business. And this is where you have to really, if you're complaining, doing all the don't not knows, you want to flip to what do I want? So we need to undo all of the mental programming and find empowering thoughts. And I find that tool of what do I want? Go write in your journal. What do I want? Just start writing. It's super, super powerful. The other thing that I want to share with you, and I want to just quickly do a quick little exercise because I'm all about the energy, and I want you guys to get a sense of the energy too. Whatever you say after I am is just super powerful. So if you can, if you're driving, do not do this, but if you can and you're in a safe place that you can close your eyes, I want you to close your eyes for a second. Take some deep breaths. Maybe even place your hand over your heart. And what I want you to do is just say, my name is, and you can say it out loud if you're not in a room where anyone else is, or say it in your head, doesn't matter. But say, my name is, and state your name. Now say, my name is Frida, or Frederick, or Bobby. Now ask your body, do you like water? Now ask your body, do you like poison? Get a sense of that. Now I want you to say, I am powerful. I am confident. I am wise. I am stupid. You guys didn't want to do that one, did you? So for time's sake, I'm going to bring you back. You can open your eyes. But did you get a sense between those different things of what your energy does? And when something's a lie, your energy will be heavy. So when you're feeling heavy sometimes in your days, maybe it's just where your mindset's at. And you have to ask some questions around it. Why am I feeling this way? And what do I want? And your mind can't do two thoughts at once. So then maybe you need to switch to I am. I am confident. I am building my 7K business. I am wise. So I want to leave that tool with you because it's super, super powerful. So the third principle is that you are the creator and you can really shape your world with intention. This is in your life and in your business. This is something I feel that has been kept from the world. We're not only in the dark about being educated financially, which I think is why so many people struggle and why I'm so passionate about sharing 7K to educate people, but you need to know that you are the creator of your life. If God is the creator and we're made in God's image, then would you not be the co-creator? And so would you take a moment right now and just say, I am the creator of my life? And in a journal, you can start working on what it is that you want more of in your life. And so I'm going to go over the 4 key areas. Journaling is super powerful with creating your life. And so with these 4 key areas, you can divide your journal up into those areas. And at the top, you can say my ideal, and I'm going to just get into these 4 key areas. So the first one is relationship. Okay, relationships are super important. Do you know the definition of relationship? The definition of relationship is the distance between 2 objects. You know how when you meet somebody, you just hit it off and everything's good? And maybe for some people, that's how it was in the beginning in their relationship or their marriage. And then through the years, the distance just grows, or even with friendships, it's just like you kind of grow apart. That's all it is. It's the definition of relationship, the distance between 2 objects. Finance is another key area of your life. Career and business, and health. So these are kind of the main key areas. So you might be wondering, why does she have a pool on here? What was your thought?
Because it's so cold here. I wish I was next to that pool. You guys have no idea how cold it is there.
It was minus 40 today. Your house starts cracking its nuts. I don't know why we live here. Anyway, that's not why I have a picture of a pool. I have a picture of a pool because you cannot have a peeing section in a pool. Why do I say that? Well, those 4 key areas, relationship, finance, career, or health, if one is really, really bad, or a few of them are really bad, they spill into the others. Okay, so it's important to fix those things. So you can create change in your life simply by changing how you're looking at it. and using the journal and writing down my ideal relationships, my ideal finance, my ideal whatever. And you're just going to put all the things that you want. Okay. So the first step to creating change is really just to acknowledge that something in your life needs to change. I think sometimes, like, say, when our health isn't the greatest, we just kind of keep trying to avoid it, keep trying to fix it, keep trying to figure it out. But do you ever stop and say, you know what? I need to get healthier. That's a whole different energy rather than trying to avoid or focusing on it. And so those are some tools that can really help. Is just the first step is to just acknowledge, okay, it needs to change. I'm not sure how. But it's really about what you're focused on and journaling about it. Okay. So sometimes let me just use relationship. Let's just use relationship. So let's say you want to work on relationship. Okay. So you can look at all of the past relationships that you've had where they are not good or were the things you didn't like about past relationships. And then you flip it to what you do want. Okay. So if they didn't love animals, but you're an animal lover, you're gonna put, I want somebody who's an animal lover. If they worked shift work and you didn't like that they worked shift work because you work 9 to 5, you could put on there, I want somebody in relationship that, has similar working, whatever, like I do. So the more detailed that you get, the better. It's like creating your blueprint. Like Dan's a contractor. You don't go to a contractor and say, okay, I'm going to tell you about my dream house.
Yeah, please don't do that.
Okay, I'm going to tell you about my dream house. Could you build that for me? No, you do a blueprint, right? You have to have it on paper. That contractor needs to see, oh, you want an island in the kitchen? Oh, you want a home office? Oh, you want the stairs over here, not over here. So when you're using your journal, that's how you create your life. You're going within yourself and you're saying, okay, this isn't working for me, but this is what I want instead. And when you get it down on paper, that's the first step to it coming into fruition. Okay. So what are you focused on? Are you being pathetic? Oh, I suck at 7K. Oh, my it doesn't work. Oh, everyone else is doing better than me, right? I think we all have pathetic tendencies. I'm sorry to call it out. Are you willing to call yourself out on this? Am I being pathetic today? Are you willing to be brutally honest with yourself? And again, it's just, what is the programming? What are the stories? What are the thoughts that are keeping you in that version of your life? It's all up to you. It's all what you focus on. That's what that magnifying glass is there for. So a bonus secret here is just the lies. There's so many lies in this reality that we all buy into. Actually, one that Dan said recently was he heard growing up. Do you remember that story about the eye of the needle?
Yeah, it was something my dad especially would often say. And it's easier for, and I'll paraphrase a bit, but easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God. And it was confusing to me because we had enough. We weren't poor, but we didn't have extra, and we all worked hard, and life was pretty good. But we went to church every Sunday, and I saw other families who had a ton of money, and they were fantastic people. And so it was this conflict, and I wasn't able to resolve that because I thought, well, if they're really wealthy, then they're not going to go to heaven like we are. And how does that all going to work? And they were fantastic people. They shared a lot, and they were super nice, and all these things. And I realized now, as well, not now, but as an adult, they're not incongruous. They do go together. And what Jeneen said before, money is just an energy. And so if you're a jerk and you have lots of money, you're going to be a rich jerk. And if you're a really nice person and you have lots of money, you're going to be a nice person who's able to do more for other people as well as yourself, and share and teach and help out a lot more. So that's all that is.
Yeah. So, what are the lies of this reality that we've all bought into? So, and are you willing to seek the truth? So I want to share something with you. Do you know that truth is a universal law? If you demand it, it will be revealed to you. Try this on your kids, for those of you with kids. Or you can use this in a court of law too. So I used it on my kids quite a bit. And so if there was an argument and I didn't know who to believe, I'd say truth in my head first, then I'd ask a question. And they would blurt out the truth with a look of shock on their face, or they'd lie so badly that you just knew they were lying because you were demanding the truth. It's universal law. So you can even do that in the cases of in court when someone's being questioned, you can say truth in your head so that either it'll be obvious they lied or whatever. So it is important to be willing to see the lies of this reality that are keeping us stuck, versus, you know, what is the truth in how we're creating. And Mark, am I okay to continue on? Because I see that I'm at 40 minutes. I'm good. Okay. We're almost at the end of this, and we're going to share our principles of how we went silver. So you are the creator, and so what are you focused on? Oh, we already talked all of this. I don't know why. Oh, what's going on here? We're going backwards. I am sorry. There we go. Here we are. So we're going to share with you now how we went silver really quickly. I'm going to say the first thing was Dan's busy. My goal is to retire him from contracting, because when you're building houses and projects and all the things, you can't travel around the world. He can't do that from other locations. I've always done businesses that I can do from anywhere in the world. So that is kind of one of my goals. So in the fall, I made a decision that I was going to really step into this and I was going to really go for it. Aware of my daily mindset and my awareness, and taking action every single day. So I told you guys how to write things down in your journals, but you can't just sit and meditate all day and think positive, or walk around your house like a crazy person saying it's totally happening. You actually have to take action, okay? So you have to take action every single day, and you do have to focus. So I call it don't mess with the hamburger, because we have had our membership now this month, 2 years. It was our 2-year anniversary, and we tried lots of different things. And up here in Canada, people are different. We've been through a lot in the last 4 years, and it just seemed like everything we tried that we were hearing, because, you know, it it's like you listen to the other people who have built their 7K businesses, right? You come on 7KU, you want to hear and learn from Mark and Danielle, and they have amazing people like Diane Graber and Maureen Faulkner and Kathy Guzzo, and, you know, all of these people, Curtis Harland. And so we're trying all the things, but it just wasn't working. And so I started digging deeper, and I started asking more questions. And so we figured it out. So we tell our team, don't mess with the hamburger, because when you get a franchise, right, you don't start trying to change the recipe. It's already proven. And so that's why I call it don't mess with the hamburger.
I'll just add one thing. So there's also a mindset in there too, because we could have given up. We could have said, no, this isn't working. Canadians aren't getting it. They're all stupid and it's not working. So the mindset change is this: how can we make this work? How can we communicate better so that people do understand the benefits of this membership?
100%. And as you do that, the ideas start to come.
Yep.
So there's 3 main steps. Talk to people, get comfortable, get really comfortable. It's not that hard. You know, talking to friends and family, how are you feeling about the economy? How about those, like, I got groceries the other day. I got 1 bag of groceries and it was $100, and my grocery bag wasn't even full. It's really easy to talk about what's going on right now in our economy, right? And then at the end of that conversation, so even for Dan, building it into his business, you know, he'd finish up, you know, their conversation, whatever, and just as they were wrapping things up, he'd say, "Hey, do you mind if I ask you a personal question?" And he would just say, "Are you doing anything with gold and silver?" And let them talk and see what they said. Get a feel. And so then the next thing that he would ask is the script. Okay, you're going to want to write this down, because we have not gotten a single no. I promise you, we have not gotten a no yet. We've used this through our going silver process. If the words, you might get a no. If I, would you, Diane Graber talks about this all the time. How we adjusted it is to, if I showed you what Dan and I are doing to get gold and silver, would you be interested in learning more? Keyword up here in Canada, tying in with our webinar is learning. Our focus up here is not on selling memberships. Our focus is on getting people to the webinar to get educated about what's going on in our monetary system and all the places that we are either being lied to or they're just not telling us everything. They're leaving information out. Once they come to the overview, where we're giving resources and we're educating them on what's going on out there, we've learned to connect the dots as well, because Canadians seem to need the dots connected in order to see, oh, so here's all the problems we're experiencing, and this is how the membership solves those problems. So really, by the end of the overview, they're like, oh, I need to get a 7K membership. We don't have to sell them at all. Okay, so you get them to the information with that script. Want me to repeat it one more time?
One more time.
Okay, if I were to show you what Dan and I are doing to get gold and silver, would you be interested in learning more? Emphasis on learning. I'm going to tell you something. With me being able to read and feel energy, he had a conversation with somebody just this weekend. And, you know, you could tell she already had heard that we were doing gold and silver. So she indicated that, and she said, "Oh yes, we already have ours." And even there, I missed that part. But when you say, you know, are you doing anything with gold and silver? No matter what they say, whether it's yes or no, just say great. And then lead into if I were to show you. So he says that, he says great. And he says, if I were to show you what Jeneen and I have been doing, would you be interested in learning more? I could feel her energy shorting out. She wanted in the worst way to say no. She wanted to say no, I could tell. She really hesitated. But then when she realized that he was offering to her to come and learn more, she couldn't say no to it. It was the coolest thing. It was just so cool for me energetically to perceive that. Okay, so get them to the information. They come to the overview. Number 3, this is super, super, super important. And I think we only really discovered this halfway through becoming silver.
Yep.
Like you guys, this just really unfolded itself as we dove in. You have to follow up right after the webinar. You have to. So what I do is I coach them and I say, listen, after the webinar, because we don't do Q&A on the webinar, just for time's sake, we're going to call you so that we can answer all of your questions. And do you know, they're already ready for it. They're expecting our call. And use a third party. I recommend using a third party because then they can also see that you don't have to be an expert to do this business. So use a third party, and then that third party will say, okay, so what did you like best? And then you go from there. So that's it. It's that simple, right? Like, how simple is that? And that's what's been working for us with these difficult Canadians up here, these stubborn Canadians. So I just want to thank you for listening tonight. I hope that you've learned something, that you can take some tools, do some transformation, but you really are amazing and you are the creator of your life. You make it happen. So if something isn't working for you, I promise you, you can change it. It's all just an energy.
Well, that was fantastic. I got to tell you, that was absolutely outstanding. I hope everybody took good notes on that, and I've allowed everybody to unmute themselves. So I want you to really let Jeneen and Dan hear what you thought of that amazing training. There's some gold nuggets in there, but let them hear it. Everybody, open up your lines and let them know
Thank
you
you.
appreciate it.
Fabulous. Thank
Amazing.
you.
It was awesome.
Thank
It
you.
was amazing. Thank
Dan,
y'all so
thank
much
you,
for everything.
Dan.
Wonderful.
was
Thank
right on
you.
time.
And
Thank
like
you,
you,
Jeneen and Dan.
Awesome.
amazing. Thank you.
You read my
Awesome
mind.
stuff.
You're so welcome.
Well, we appreciate all the
Don't
great
mess
nuggets
with
that
the
you shared with us.
hamburger.
Whoops. Sorry.
Don't mess with the
That's my-
hamburger. That's what I heard.
That's right.
I'm great.
Well, I just want to say thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. That was absolutely outstanding. That was outstanding. I really appreciate you taking as much time as you did, putting that all together. That is some amazing stuff. And take down notes, take it to heart, everybody. Don't just listen to it one time. Go back and really, you can rehear it again. We'll be posting that on Best Training Tips as well. And next week, I do want to tell you that we're going to be having Danielle, who's going to be coming on and doing a training next Monday night at 8 p.m. So I encourage you, 8 p.m. Eastern, I encourage you, build into that. It's going to be a great one. We've got some great stuff going on. We got a call coming up with corporate on a WebEx at 9:30. And again, that's I'm sure there's going to be some great stuff on there. It's supposed to be an inspirational story. But I will tell you, the biggest inspiration that I had tonight was listening to Jeneen and Dan. Again, want to say thank you so much. That was some outstanding information. Everybody, if you want to give them one more time, let them hear how much you appreciated that great stuff. Thank you so much.
Thank
Jeneen
you
and
very
Dan.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Good
Thank
job.
you.
Thank you, Dan and Janine.
That was perfect.
Amazing.
Congratulations on silver.
That's on
Yes, gold is
Yeah.
next.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'm
I love it.
like, we're on the next one too.
All
Yeah,
right, everybody have a wonderful week.
Thank
All
you.
See you on the
too.
call at
Thank you.
9:30. Thank you.
Appreciate
again.
you. Love you guys.
You guys.
Good night.